This is a picture from a long time ago. Let me see where Greg is. Right here.
For 21 years, Greg Rathburn served his country.
Back in that active duty time.
The photos remember what his body has forgotten.
Look at me. Live my life for a day. I wouldn't wish this on anybody.
The 62-year-old suffers from a rare muscle disease called inclusion body myositis, or IBM, a disease that takes and never stops.
Now he's not even strong enough to breathe on his own. He has no muscle that can move his arms or legs or anything.
His wife Lori does what Greg no longer can.
So we need to scoot him back several times a day.
Thanks.
Greg spent his career in the Air Force and later the Air National Guard.
Top gun right here, see? Okay, now I think Greg's at the top. Yeah, Greg's right here.
Working on some of the most advanced aircraft ever built. Then, in 2008, something changed. He felt weak and shaky.
He would feel like if a person felt if they were on a motorcycle and had been riding a motorcycle all day, just kind of vibrating, like a vibrating sensation.
At age 44, doctors diagnosed him with IBM.
So we kind of thought, yeah, it's a muscle wasting disease, but we'll get by, it's fine.
IBM breaks down muscle tissue over time, slowly robbing people of their strength until they can no longer function on their own. What causes it is a mystery. There is no cure.
It starts off with weakness in the hands, especially in the grip, and weakness in the upper legs.
Dr. Thomas Lloyd is chair of neurology at Baylor College of Medicine.
So it's extremely slowly progressive, and that leads to a delay in diagnosis.
Greg applied for service-connected disability in 2009, hoping for full benefits from the Veterans Administration. But the VA said no. He filed an appeal, but it too was denied.
I fully, wholeheartedly believe that his exposures during the military service is what caused this disease.
There's no family history, no genetic markers. Greg and his wife were left wondering, looking back at the years he spent as an avionics technician, the harsh chemicals that came with the job, and his work on the SR-71 Blackbird, an aircraft notorious for leaking jet fuel. Whether that exposure triggered IBM is a question researchers are still trying to answer.
But, there was no training as far as the realization that these things can hurt you. Just wasn't talked about.
6 years later, Greg tried again, this time with a letter of support from a neurologist. The VA's answer was in black and white, once again denied, because the condition neither occurred in nor was caused by service.
We gave up. There's an emotional part that goes along with all of this, and you can only put so much effort into so many things.
Across the country, other veterans face the same battle. IBM often doesn't show up until years after service, sometimes decades later.
The Veterans Administration does not recognize inclusion body myositis as a disease that exists.
Every doctor you go into and you say, well, what do you have? He said, IBM. Never heard of it.
It's a disease most people don't even know they have until they get to the point where they're falling down.
Depending on the study and how you do the math, advocates believe the number of veterans diagnosed with IBM may be anywhere from 6 to 19 times higher than the general population. That's a wide range. The problem, nobody formally tracks IBM diagnosis.
Once we saw this, we realized this is real. Veterans really are getting this orders of magnitude higher than the civilian population.
Attorney Carrie Baker, who's been fighting for many of these veterans, says not every VA claim requires a direct medical link. For some conditions, the law simply presumes military service is to blame, like Vietnam veterans exposed to Agent Orange, or any veteran diagnosed with ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease.
There's no pattern to their military service other than military service itself. That's the way ALS was. VA could not find a pattern as to why veterans were getting it at such a higher clip. It seems to be the same way here.
For Greg and Lori, the financial reality is stark. Service-connected benefits would have meant more support from the VA, help with medical equipment, travel, and the cost of modifying their home.
If he was 100% service connected, I don't know how much it is, but I know that they will help with a lot more modifications and things. So we paid out of pocket for all of this.
Lori has put her life on hold. She retired early to take care of Greg. It's a job that doesn't know hours or days off.
You scratch my ear.
This one.
Oh, thank you.
Little things like that all day long. Scratch this, move my arm.
For 21 years, Greg Rathburn served his country. The disease has taken almost everything, but he's still fighting. Not for himself, for the veterans who come after him.
For us now at this point, it's not so much about the money. It's not so much about the monthly income. It's more about what he calls it, vindication. It's validation. Validation that what he did in the military mattered. And, to have that supported, like, yes, we know what you did for us and it was important, that's important to him.
So what does the VA have to say about this? We asked specifically about Greg Rathburn's case and more broadly about IBM. In a statement, a spokesperson wrote, Mr. Rathburn's IBM claim was denied because the evidence presented did not establish that this disability began during active duty or was related to his military service. Greg filed another claim with the VA in early April, which is currently being reviewed. The spokesperson went on to explain, VA continues to investigate IBM and asked the national academies this year to conduct a new comprehensive study on this condition. In the meantime, the VA will continue to decide disability benefits for IBM on a case-by-case basis. Worth noting, our reporting is part of a national project, which has captured the attention of lawmakers across the country who vowed to take action. They believe the system needs to change. In May, we'll release our full investigative project. It's called Diagnosis Denied, and will be available for streaming on KGW+. Kyle Boshi, KGW News.